Hello everyone and welcome. I know it's been long overdue. A lot of you have been asking and finally it's here. We're going to do it. Yeah. 5 fragrances, beastly, in your face, bold, high quality, like the best natural smelling designer fragrances that you can possibly get your hands on, but you gotta love them, you know. You gotta warm up to it. So we're going to start off with this list going from your most oldest one. Actually, we're going to do this list chronologically, but also we're going to warm up. So if you really want the most intense beastly fragrance in here, you'll have to watch this video all through the end. But without further ado, let's go into it. These will be mostly aromatic fougere kind of fragrances, because that's like the most commonly used genre in the 70s and 80s. But also we're going to get into some woody chypres as well. So first one, by the house of Azzaro Purom. This one is a Purom, just by the house of Azzaro. 1978, and it was made by Gérard Anthony and Richard Wirth. Wirth! People refer to this one as the original barbershop fragrance. Has a lot of similarities with Yves Saint Laurent Rive Gauche, but to me this is the daddy. This is the original lavender star anise masterpiece, and it does have a barbershop feel, but at the same time it's also quite commanding, in charge. It feels like you are a man who knows his business wearing this fragrance. It's potent, it's refined, it's high quality. What can you ask more for a fragrance? And the best part is, actually, today it's not even that bad. It's been through a lot of reformulations. This is an older bottle, but I believe that even today it is still, it's still okay. It has moderate performance, and the best part of all, it's cheap. It's really cheap. You can pick this up for like 20 bucks, something like that. And I believe for that value, you can't go wrong if you're into this type of fragrance. So the next one was released 6 years later in 1984, and this is Versace L'Homme. Beautiful fragrance. Roger Pellegrino was the master perfumer behind this fragrance. This is a woody chypre. It has warm, spicy, woody notes with a citrus opening, and it has a lot of green aromatic supporting notes. So this one has basil, it has carnation, petit grain, and in the base it dries down to a leathery oak moss fragrance. It has like that waxy, mossy, leathery base that really commands attention. It draws people in. It has still some of the freshness and aromatic notes in the opening that linger through the heart and dry down of the fragrance. But all in all, it is really a potent masterpiece, in my opinion. But probably the freshest fragrance in this list that you will get your nose on, because of that citrusy opening. But when it starts to dry down, it shifts. This fragrance transitions. It is really powerful. For me, at least, I get great performance with it, and it's also available at really good prices these days. So I would really highly recommend getting your nose on this fragrance. It is truly unique. Not a lot of people talk about this one. I don't know why. It's a great one, and I really enjoy this one a lot. All right, back to 1978 with this one by the house of Ralph Lauren, and this one is Polo. Original Polo in the green bottle with the gold cap. Carlos Benaim is the perfumer behind this fragrance, and he's known for a lot of great fragrances. Green Irish Tweed, Millésime Impérial. Also recent work, think about Yves Saint Laurent Libre for women, the entire collection I believe. Spice Bomb, Extreme. So he kind of shifted from making earthy, aromatic, woody chypres like this towards modern fragrances these days, and fragrances that are still really valued. So he's a great guy. Opens up fresh, aromatic with notes of basil, juniper berries, but it completely shifts once again. It goes into a very green mid with a tobacco base, actually with a lot of oak moss and tobacco, but like I said, opens up really green, fresh, with that basil, juniper berries. Mid of this fragrance, pine tree, pine tree. I think the color of the bottle actually is really well chosen for this fragrance. You get what you see. It is a green fragrance, but dry down tobacco, oak moss, really natural smelling fragrance. I think it's a beautiful and unique fragrance. I have not come across anything that smells identical to this one, and this was the OG pine tree kind of a fragrance. So credit due where it has to be, and I think Carlos did a beautiful fragrance. All right, another woody aromatic fragrance in the woody chypre type of fragrances, and this was from Chanel. Actually, in 1981 they released this by the famous perfumer Jacques Polge, who recently retired from Chanel, which is truly, it's sad, we know. He was a beautiful, beautiful perfumer. He had such talent to bring, the most refined compositions to life. This is like, it's another aromatic fragrance, so you can expect notes like clary sage, coriander, thyme, but it has a lot of backbone to it. This, when it dries down, it goes into a leather aromatic with even some animalic notes like castoreum, and it gets dirty. It's a fragrance, when you wear it, you will be the most unique guy in the room. I'm pretty sure about that. In a time and age where everyone is wearing Sauvage, they will be scared of you. Not kidding. Beastly Performance, this is 2012 bottle. I'm not sure how the current formulation is, but at least for me, this one is doing really, really well on my skin. Yeah, this is, we're getting up there, so stick with me. All right, where do I start with this last one? Same year as Chanel released Antaeus, but this time Yves Saint Laurent said, we gotta do something, like we gotta fight back. We gotta get some ground on designer releases. And Yves Saint Laurent truly got Hall of Fame with this fragrance. It was truly remarkable back in the day and refreshing in a sense that nobody had smelled anything like this before. So it wasn't even welcomed really well. People didn't like it at first. It sold really terrible actually in the beginning, but eventually people started wearing it, and because it is so strong, it was noticed by everyone else in the same vicinity, in the same city, in the same block, in the same area. So Kouros eventually got there, and by 2023, as we were filming, nobody even talks about this fragrance anymore, but to me this is the OG, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, in a sense that it took the designer fragrances to a whole other level. This was unapologetically animalic, even at the time where they did some great compositions with unique notes. I believe civet was used a lot more back in the day than it is today. We're all about oud these days, but don't get me wrong, there's no oud in this, and yet this is still animalic because of that civet. But don't be scared off completely, because it has a powdery feel. There's a lot of honey in here. So I believe the perfumer did a great job at giving us a little bit of everything. And I think, if you're not scared of a little dirtiness, that this could work really well depending on your skin chemistry. For me personally, the muskiness and the sweetness from that musk actually amps up enough to counter off the edgy, skanky civet, and it blends really well on my skin and performs like a champ. So I don't know about you, but for me, this fragrance deserves a spot in the masterpiece collection, greatest of all time. So I know there's a lot of great 70s, 80s, 90s fragrances that I haven't included in this list. Obviously, I couldn't get them all in one video, so maybe that's for another video, right? You know what I mean? So let me know what your favorite was in this video, and let me know what your favorite fragrance of all time is from the 80s, because most of these fragrances were late 70s, early 80s. I believe that period was amazing for designer releases. Leave a comment and subscribe so you won't miss out on a future video.